During the Korean War, scientists from CNA were producing analysis to improve the effectiveness of U.S. battleships and bombers. But CNA also employs statisticians, economists, and engineers, like me, who work on a wide range of readiness issues, including logistics. And the Korean War had a major logistics problem. The U.S. had chartered nearly every available ship on the West Coast and in Japan to move material into Korea, and almost all of it was heading to Korea's largest port, Busan. The port was overwhelmed. There were too few piers and too many ships, most of them just waiting for a berth. It was a severe logistics bottleneck for the war effort. At Pacific Fleet, headquartered in Pearl Harbor, a commander asked 3 CNA analysts to look at forms with data on the unloading of ships and their movements in and out of port. There was a room full of data, reams of it. The commander wanted to know, could you turn the data into some useful advice to alleviate port congestion? One of the CNA analysts, John Everett, became obsessed with this problem, searching for a mathematical approach that could convert the data into a solution. In a eureka moment, Everett remembered the last chapter of a mathematical text, Probability Theory and its Application, that described queuing theory developed to help the Swedish telephone company route calls. Everett saw that routing telephone calls was mathematically much like routing ships. By marrying this theory to the mountains of data on port visits, Everett came to conclusions that at the time were rather startling. Decreasing the percentage of occupied berths in a port by just a little can dramatically decrease the average wait time before a ship can dock. For example, in a 20-berth port, just reducing port utilization from 95% of capacity to 80% of capacity would cut total waiting time in port by almost half. He offered 3 conclusions. 1. Large ports are much more efficient than multiple smaller ports. 2. Random ship scheduling can be costly, so there's a great benefit from scheduling even a small fraction of total shipping. And 3. Ships should be distributed among ports to keep total waiting time to a minimum. Everett's impact went beyond the Navy's planning for ports. By introducing queuing theory to military operations research, Everett helped inspire a wave of research, applying queuing theory to automobile traffic, air traffic, and even supermarket checkout lines. Some 50 years after he first published on port congestion, his work was still being mentioned in textbooks on stochastic models. At CNA, our analysts have applied queuing theory to communications, ship refueling, and the medical treatment of casualties. I myself have been involved in modeling that employs queuing theory for work on shipyards and Navy personnel. So I too owe a debt of gratitude to John Everett for his inspired analysis in the midst of the Korean War.